And yes, here we are, Husky Huddle, with the best new YouTube channel sensation, Coach Schuman Sports and Entertainment, the best influencer in the state of New Jersey and Connecticut for all your top Uconn coverage, coaching coverage, recruiting coverage, navigating the new NIL process. Coach Schuman is the guy for you. And politics now. Politics have taken over, and we do it all. We do it all, and we bring it to you because we love you, and we appreciate your support. And we are the best of the best. We're not fakes and frauds like the other people who try to cover Uconn sports, that never played Uconn sports, that did very little, had very little success. We've all had tremendous success. Dave and I are just successes in life in general. Nobody comes close to us. So if you can listen to them and be losers in your life, or you can listen to us and be winners. We know how to win.
Win, baby, win.
And this is Husky Huddle. It's our last game of the year against Umass, or as I like to say, Umass.
That's what I used to say, Umass.
Umass. And boy, oh boy, this is really it for us. There's a lot riding on this. We're trying to navigate the future, figure out who we're keeping, who's getting a raise, who may be leaving. It's a really, really pivotal game. So it's paramount that we have success.
Do you have any insider information on
the quarterback?
On
the bowl?
Who's coming and who's going? Do you think is coming and who's going?
Mike tends to believe that it could be challenging to retain the three running backs, and Skylar Bell's obviously going to want to raise.
So all three, but not all three will leave, but some. One of them might be going.
He thinks. I mean, he knows they love UConn. He knows that they obviously want to be there. Just with the financial situation, I don't know if I don't know who is getting paid. I know they paid Darrell Robinson. I don't know if Cam was getting paid, but like Victor Rosa, who was a big part, he kind of fell off, and Mel Brown stepped in and has done phenomenal. And as you say, and then obviously the quarterback situation, paying Nick Evers, I broke it down. He basically got $10,000 for every touchdown pass he threw. So I don't know what's going to happen. You know, they may ask him to take a cut. I mean, who knows? And he is in a position where he can't leave. He can't transfer.
Why? Why is that?
The NCAA passed a legislation that only allows 2 transfers, I believe. They either cut it to 1 or 2. But he's transferred twice already, so I don't think that he will be able to. Oh, there he is. I don't think he's able to transfer again.
Okay. I'll wait.
So we're stuck.
Once you wait for Wilbur to get connected here.
But yeah. So I think we have him, and I don't think he can leave whether he wants to or not. So I think, like you had said, we have to work with him. We got to try to get what we can out of him, or they have to depend on one of the freshmen they brought in this past year. There he is.
Hey, what's up, man?
The legend himself, the GOAT.
What's up? How you doing?
Wilbur Gilliard.
What up, Shu? What's going on, man?
Hey, there he is.
My man.
We finally got him on Husky Huddle. Thank you. We've been trying to get him.
Greatest
He's a busy
running
guy.
back of all time of UConn.
He held the record. He had the record forever. He was the man.
He stuck for 1 year at fullback.
Oh my God! Don't bring that up, man.
He loves to talk about that. He loves to talk about that. When Skip moved to the fullback, he takes his best.
The year I was injured, I think, right? And you and Nook played fullback, I guess. I don't know.
God.
It was long. It was Lenny or Long.
Nook was like the best fullback, as far as like
blocking,
just pounding in there, blocking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it just pushed you out too, Shu, because you were back there.
Well, I was hurt that year, and
but Schuman had the hands though. You know what I mean? He had the hands in the backfield. So Schuman, man, that was a rough time for me, man.
But then, otherwise, that rushing record would have been so far out of reach. No one would touch it, dude. If you didn't have to serve that year at fullback and you were tailback.
They sabotage them.
I look at the Detroit Lions and I say, if they had just let me and Eddie play like that, it would have been all good.
Yep.
Man.
That's a really good point. That's true.
We were two different type of runners. He was speed, get past you, and I was the bruiser. So we could have let me run the rock, get some guys tired, and let Eddie run right past them. But I don't know.
That's crazy.
Jet sweep wasn't a thing back then. That would have been right up Eddie's alley, right?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, man.
Oh, Eddie was fast.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I told you in my podcast. He looked like Michael. Yeah, he looked like Michael Johnson. Like we came out.
Oh, okay.
40 times. Like he was shredded. You know.
He had the shoe. Yeah, he had the track shoes. Yeah, I keep thinking it was Lenny. That's who it was.
Eddie.
Lenny.
He's the only guy I ever saw that had an 8-pack.
Yeah.
He didn't have a 6-pack. I'm not kidding.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We would be like, yo, Eddie, go take your shirt off over there, please.
Yeah.
Don't be hanging out with us. We don't want you hanging out over here.
Yeah.
Like, go get remember our room was like me, you, Hez, Nook.
Yeah.
That was a great room. Who else did we have? Jerry Edwards.
Yeah.
Lenny Dandridge at one point.
Yeah.
He just made coffee go up my nose.
Oh man, dude, that crew led by Wilbur, who is probably the funniest human alive.
Yes, you said that.
But Hez is a close second. Hez was funny.
I had them both back to back, and I couldn't stop laughing. They could
in the same running back room at one point. Everybody eventually, like I moved over to linebacker. I think Lenny might have moved to DB too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at one time we were all in the same running back room. Oh, and it was the running back coach.
The running back coach. Listen,
you could have gone on tour.
So Schuman, do you remember when I think we lost to Lehigh?
That was before me. That was
before you.
Yeah.
So we lost to Lehigh, and the offensive coordinator is they're interviewing him, and he's all pissed off. So we can't go to the meeting room like the normal way because he's getting interviewed. We had to walk out of the locker room and walk around. But by the time we walked around, the reporter was gone, and they started the meeting. So it's like, you're late. We're like, late? What are you talking about? So they made us
a loss.
After practice, dude, we were crabbing the hill.
Oh, my God.
The side of the steep hill, like,
oh my God!
That hill was so tricky because it go up and then it get level and then you go up again, and we just grabbed for like 45 minutes after practice
because you were late.
Looking at Eddie, Eddie's like, "Dude, we're gonna die out here."
Oh yeah, that was
before you.
That's the that's the no mercy era. That man remember what they used to do? God rest his soul, poor Alonzo. Remember with the ball? They would have
him rolling the ball, dude. Like that was,
he was too heavy.
Yeah, because Alonzo was, he was he
a great athlete though.
He was fat, but dude, he had feet. His feet were crazy.
He was his lower half was built like an Olympian. His upper half was built like the fattest man of all time.
Yeah,
so he had two different bodies on the same person.
Dude, but Steve, he got on the field though.
Yeah, he was good.
He was good.
He was good.
What is rolling the ball?
Oh, this was.
That's like they had this big, huge, like plastic ball.
Yeah.
He couldn't make they had the body fat thing that you had to make. He never made it. So we used to be. They had him rolling the ball, and it was like we were all kind of like pissed off. You got him rolling the ball, but he's the best guard out there. Like, well, you don't have to do that.
You're punishing him.
They didn't have him practice.
Yeah, they didn't have him practice.
So he wasn't practice. He could have been practicing. What was the point?
They took practice time away to have him roll the ball.
Yes, it was so dumb back then. Yeah. It was so dumb.
It was dumb, man.
It was dumb. That was one thing. At least Holtz got rid of that shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, Schuman, he was the one that I could always break plays with.
Yeah.
So if they called
with the guard
power to the left, I'm like, yo, that dude over there he's tired. He's trying to come out of the game. I'm cutting back. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Don't run that play. I'm cutting back. He's like, all right, cool. And all the time it would happen. And me and him would be the only ones knowing that I'm going to cut back and break the play. And I scored. I had so many big runs.
So he was a really good guard.
Listen, his pictures that he had, like, you at the end of the year, you get the little, you get all of the proofs. And
that they take of you.
Alonzo's pictures, like 4 of them, I'm in it. And if you look at our eyes and the way the picture's set up, it's awesome, man. I get chills.
Well, you guys were great friends too.
Yeah, we were great friends off the field. So yeah, it was awesome.
Where was he? Where was he from?
He was from the Bronx, but he went to Brooklyn Tech.
Oh,
so, we went to high, so this dude used to travel like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day to play football.
Mm-hmm.
Out in Brooklyn, because there was no, where he was in the Bronx, and he was smart.
Yeah.
He ended up falling in love and failing out because he was just going to see his girlfriend all the time. And the minute he left college, dude, he bought a house, flipped it, had tenants, bought another house, and then he ended up.
Oh, he got into that. Wow.
Before the end of it, he was managing like over 70 properties. He had like a property management company.
Oh,
Alonzo did very, very well for himself, man.
Didn't he have any children?
Yeah, he had 2 girls. He got married to girl Kathy, who went to Wesleyan. She was a dentist. You know what I mean? So Alonzo was the man. He was the man.
Oh, God rest his soul.
Yeah, God bless him, man. I miss him.
No.
How long has he been gone?
Wow, I would say about 7 years now, 8 years.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah.
Young. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a few of us in our, that passed away.
We're all getting old.
The Kendall Madison Award, right, Steve? You know that award?
Yeah.
So I won that award when I was in college, but Kendall Madison played with us. Wilbur was really good friends with Kendall Madison, really good friends with him. And he was your grade. Yeah, he was your grade, right, Will?
Yeah, he was our grade, but Kendall he graduated. He graduated in 4 years.
Right.
But he forfeited his last year of eligibility. He was going to graduate and go to grad school. And then over that Christmas break, that's when he was stabbed and ultimately died.
Yes.
He was
Jesus. He was breaking up a fight. He was breaking up a fight.
Oh my God!
Yeah, they used to have parties in Long Island. He was from East Hampton. He was actually breaking up a fight,
which is a really wealthy area.
Yeah, that's why.
So it's not something that you would think would happen. You know what I mean? It probably didn't even dawn on him. You know what I mean? So
remember the coach used to tease him about his Mustang and his SAT score.
Oh yeah.
Remember Coach?
East Hampton, dude. Dude, that dude had the lowest body fat of all time. I've never seen anything like
him and Lamont. You know, these guys on the day of body fat, these guys will come in drinking soda, trying to be funny. You know,
are you serious?
Fat guys trying to lose weight. These guys come in. Lamont will come in with a can of soda. Like,
Yep, these guys had such low body fat; it was insane.
Yeah,
the BMI. That's crazy. That is so crazy.
Oh, I hated the BMI. I hated that.
Well, it's so inaccurate. Basically, all of us are overweight.
Yeah, dude, I was always in like the offensive lineman percentage. You know, like I never even tried. I wasn't gonna make it.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, because they don't take into account the height and weight combination. Like, my ideal weight is 210 pounds. If I was 210 pounds, I'd look emaciated.
Yeah.
That's I'm supposed to be between 185 and 210 according to the BMI index.
Yeah,
I know, right? At 6'5", that's where you're supposed to be. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's what's so
you're
crazy.
6'5". That's crazy.
Yeah. But that's like the ideal weight for someone that size.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to believe. Wilbur, did you? I didn't know. Did you get up to any games this year?
Yes,
you did. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you were at homecoming.
Listen, Steve, if you want to find Wilbur at a game, there's two places he's going to be. Okay, just look down on the field. He'll wave back at you, and if he's not down on the field.
He gets on the sidelines.
Yeah, of course he does. And if not, then just look up. Just look up in the VIP area and just wave up there. You don't have to look at. You don't got to go in the stands. You don't got to look around. Just look down below on the field. Go up to VIP. You happen to be. I think you were up in VIP at one time with Burton, right, Steve? So
yeah, I was.
Wilbur was probably there.
I can't get on the field.
And everybody there is wondering how I got there.
Yes,
because they don't let anyone on the field. That's the one.
And listen, this is when I used to go a lot. Like when you were it's actually probably when you were playing more. You know, in that era, right? Because you guys were really good. We would come to the games. So you know, like I'd be standing there and I'd be like, "Oh, Wilbur's on the field." I said, "Wilbur's on the field." So you look down and Randy was pretty like stingy with the on the field stuff, you know. Yeah. So he was like, you know, you see him, he'd be like, "Yo, just come down." And you're like, "What?" And so he would direct you to some like security guard that he somehow knew.
Yeah.
Right over there, like Wilbur said, "I can get on," and you just go right on.
Wilbur's got more power than anyone there.
Those
the most juice of anyone.
I guess so. Jeez. I guess I can't get like you try to get tickets to a game and that's an issue. No, you try to call Baylock, you can get 2 tickets. If you try to ask for like 3 or 4, no.
Civic Center, Madison Square Garden, pre 9/11, like dude, come on, man.
Wow.
Oh yeah, especially sometimes because you were living. Are you still living in New York or not?
Yeah, I'm still in New York.
Oh, you are.
But this was like when I was living in Connecticut. We drive up to Madison Square Garden. You got tickets? Like, yo, come on, man.
All the basketball players, Wilbur knew all of them. Yeah. There was not one guy who didn't. Lou Perkins, which we've talked about in the past, obviously. Was Lou there when you were still there or no, Steve? Was Lou Perkins?
He was.
He was there,
Wilbur told me.
Wilbur, I mean, like, listen, like,
yeah,
you know, if Lou had some highfalutin dinner in the State House, his special guest might have been Wilbur. You know what I'm saying? That his +1 would have been Wilbur. His +1 wouldn't have been his wife or his daughter. His +1 would have been Wilbur.
Well, he told me a story that Lou Perkins, everywhere he went, he had 2 people with him that were like really big, high up, either working for the state or attorneys that were his consultants.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where he went, these guys were always with him.
Oh, right.
And I was like, wow. Yeah. He's like, he was always surrounded by these 2 guys, and they they were just whispering to each other. You never knew what they were saying or anything. They were just talking and figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I couldn't believe was they even told him back then that they were going to the Big East and going D1 FBS. I was like, I cannot believe that it started like 10 years before it happened.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, by your junior year, you'll be playing in a new stadium in the Big East. That's what they sold these kids on.
Yeah, they probably sold Wilbur. They sold me that. They must have sold Wilbur. They sold you that, Wilbur?
100%, man.
Yeah.
I went back to see Lou one day, and he wanted me to come back and be a part of everything that was going on. But truthfully, I just I hated Skip, man. I wasn't gonna come back and be
right.
Yeah, you had a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't.
But that's crazy that I don't know if
Skip never understood even though he ran a version of the I, you know what I'm saying? But he never really he wanted to run that Notre Dame stuff. He never really understood what like our run game was, which the one thing was very, very strong from our from under Tom Jackson era, man. Like the run game was really good because the guy who was the O-line coach and the guy before him, those I think it was
Robichaud.
He was nuts. Okay, he was the one who would kill these guys. But I could tell you this: he did know how to coach up the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he was crazy with them. Like he'd run guys off. He would literally, if he didn't like you, he would run you off the team. Like literally.
I was about to say that. Like, you got these guys complaining about how coaches talk to them.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
He probably could have went to jail if they would have been recorded.
No doubt.
People, you act like Sherrod, and you get those old linemen, and you get them to tell you some stories. Like this dude was nuts, man. He was nuts.
And those were the guys he loved.
Yeah.
He loved Sherrod.
Yeah.
He tried to kill him. He loved Sherrod. And he tried to kill him. Oh my God.
Hey, listen, Shu, were you at you remember that spring game with Sherrod? Somebody got an interception and Sherrod ran like 60, 70 yards down the field to chase him down, and Coach Martin like went absolutely ballistic. He was like jumping all over Sherrod. Like it was like he's, like his own child that done the greatest thing ever. Like Sherrod hustled. Now Sherrod was probably like 6'4", 6'5", easily 300 pounds. He was huge. He was tall.
He might have been taller than that.
Strong. Sherrod was a beast, man. Like he was a beast. I mean, Sherrod was, and dude, he just sprint in his perfect form. And Coach Martin's following him he doesn't even care about the guy running with the ball.
No.
He's looking at Sherrod chase this guy down. And it was like that made the whole scrimmage. Like out of everything that happened, that was the highlight.
That was the highlight.
Yeah.
Sherrod, so you guys had like a good line. You had good people up front.
Yeah. I would definitely say. And then Tavar came,
T-Claus.
T-Claus came in, and I had to take care of him. He was my responsibility. Yeah. That was another conversation I had with a lot of Uconn officials. I won't name any names, but I had several meetings with them, and I was told, you better make sure this guy.
He's your responsibility.
He's a loose cannon, and I was sitting there like, oh God, this is my responsibility. Huh?
T-Claus, really?
Well, they're both from Hartford originally.
Yeah, he came from Hartford.
That's right.
He played with Marcus Camby when they went undefeated for the state championship.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. I forgot he was a Connecticut guy.
Yeah, and he could have went to Florida State. He could have went to Florida State. They really wanted him out there.
And they wanted to keep him close to home?
No, I told him, you're coming to Uconn, man.
You told him he's coming to Uconn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Marcus was at Umass.
Yes. That's right.
He could still stay and hang out with guys that he was friends with, right?
Yeah. So it was
I
cool
got
to keep
you.
him around. Yeah.
So Wilbur, did you get a chance to watch any of the Syracuse or the UAB game?
I watched the Syracuse game, but not the UAB game.
Okay, yeah, I was at the Syracuse game. I was thoroughly disgusted. I was angry.
Yeah,
they scored in 2 plays on the first drive. I didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then the fake punt killed me.
Yeah, that'll kill anybody, man.
The fake punt, I lost it. And then I don't know if you noticed this. I'm still trying to get clarification. We were driving at the end of the game before we scored the final touchdown. They were not stopping the clock when we got first downs, and I did not understand that.
So I was under the impression that was like a new rule change or something. I noticed that too, but I wasn't complaining about it because I thought that, you know what I mean. I thought it was like some fourth quarter rule or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So what was happening at the game? They wouldn't stop the clock when they got the first down.
We were moving the ball really well, but they weren't stopping the clock, and we weren't really in no huddle mode like tempo, and we wasted a ton of time.
Yeah, a ton of time went off the clock. Yeah,
and then we had to burn our second timeout. I think that had they stopped the clock, we could have scored. There would have been plenty of time left for us to kick off and then get a stop and get the ball back instead of scoring with, 30 seconds left and having to onside it. That's what was frustrating.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't run the ball on us. And I didn't think they.
These guys are looking good, man.
I didn't think they would have taken a chance throwing the ball. So I thought that we score, kickoff. We got 2 timeouts. There was a 2-minute warning. They did stop the clock on. If they had done it throughout the drive, we would have had that too. So that's why I was frustrated, and that's when I was screaming and yelling. And my father yelled at me numerous times to stop doing that.
It doesn't make sense because it says here. I'm looking at the rules. It says that while the chains are moving after first downs during the final 2 minutes of each half, the clock stops on first downs.
But it doesn't say. I thought every time it stopped on a first down.
No, I guess now it's only at during the last 2 minutes.
So they did change it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then that's on me. I thought it still always stopped when you got a first down.
No,
I guess that's gone.
Yeah, they're trying to speed the game along, man. They got other games in there. It's all a money thing, man.
That's true.
I know. No, believe me, I know. It's just it like that was a winnable game. I mean, it was great that we came back. It was 24-14 at half, and then we traded field goals. And if they didn't get that fake punt, they wouldn't have gotten the field goal. And then, I think we would have won. That was the difference, I think, because then we both scored in the fourth quarter. So that was just.
I see. I kind of differ a little bit on that. Like, I think that that quarterback from Syracuse, and if he got the ball again, he would have went right down the field. Like I just don't think
I don't think they would have thrown it though.
I don't think our DBs are quite there.
No,
speed wise.
No.
So it's not that they're not good; they are pretty good. It's just speed. This comes down. This game now is like, especially, in the secondary, it comes down to speed. If your guys got a little more speed and athleticism, especially in offense, you know where you're going. Defense, you don't. So you know where they're going. So I
agree. I think
that's the part that is like the last missing piece. I mean, obviously quarterback, there's an issue there, but the last missing piece as far as athletically, they got to get DBs that can fly. They started a freshman this year. I guess he's probably a move in that direction. But the other guys, obviously, they need to get a few more, right? So,
no, I definitely agree. But when you have a talent like Randy Edsall, like I said,
well, that might
be. I don't think they game plan for him. He's a guy that you have to game plan for and have an answer for.
They must.
Yeah, I thought that, like, they moved him around. I would never have given him a free release, regardless of where he lands.
I think he's a matchup problem for us. That's the issue.
Of course he is. Of course he is. But I still, when they were in trips and he's got nobody over him, like, I would have pressed the point of the trips. I would have pressed him just to try to reroute him, do something.
But he's physical, dude. That's a high draft pick guy right there. That's a guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
There's some guys that are just dudes that you got to figure out how you manage it more than I don't know. I don't think they did a great job managing it, like putting another guy over the top.
Right.
I'd say the problem was the quarterback was that good. So the quarterback was that good that he could go somewhere else if you really put a lot of resources to.
Yes. Yeah, they had two other receivers that were good.
If we get ourselves a quarterback like that eventually, I mean, we're gonna be probably better in Syracuse.
Yeah, and that's why I think.
But where's all the money, man?
They don't have any. That's a problem.
How?
Well, the television revenue. This is the first time that the schools are going to be able to pay out kids from TV revenue.
Whoa.
And we don't have a TV contract.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
So we don't have that. So it just falls on having to raise more money.
Yeah, raise money. Yeah.
But someone else was telling me that they could use money from our own endowment and put it towards it. And I don't know what our endowment is, but
I looked it up once. I don't think it was that huge.
No, it's not. It's not compared to a lot of other schools.
Places, yeah.
Like Harvard's endowment is bigger than like 5 countries.
634 million. That's not very big.
No.
That's all our endowment is.
That's what it says. 634 million.
Yeah, but I mean,
considering Yale endowment is.
It's in the billions.
Ready for this? Yale endowment is 41.4 billion. Yale should just buy every great player in the country and put them all in the Ivy League, one team. And
what's NYU?
NYU it must be pretty high. Let me look. NYU,
they own like half of New York as far as property.
Like 5.9 billion. That's pretty good.
NYU's higher than Yale. Holy crap!
No.
Yale is
48. It was 48. Yeah, sorry.
NYU was 5.9. But for a program that like NYU is a great school, but for a school that doesn't really have like campus, that's pretty amazing how much money they have.
But they don't have sports, right?
That's what I'm saying. They don't have to raise for different things, so they have a lot. That's all going to academic research and
They've got a ton of property in the city, though.
Oh yeah. So Columbia must have a huge endowment. Columbia
is Chapman's son still at Columbia? Mark Chapman. Did you know Mark Chapman?
Yeah. He was a senior when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
That was the class with like Kaz and him. And
yeah.
Those dudes.
Were you there for Todd Verdi?
Todd Verdi was in that class too.
Were you there for the when they fed him the X-Lax brownies?
I remember hearing about it, but I wasn't like I was still a youngin'.
That's what you guys were doing? Oh God!
I was still trying to get into sneaking the foreplay back then.
Listen, those guys from Jersey,
brownies.
Those guys from Jersey were like a different type of
No,
guy.
I know they are. The
Sarno, remember the Sarno?
Yeah, the Sarno. So between this, you know what the Sarno used to do? The Sarno used to stand behind Coach Jackson and yell out someone's name that wasn't even on the field. And Jackson would repeat it. So he'd be like, "Great job, Didio! Great job, great block." And Didio's like standing behind him getting water, and then Jackson was like, "Great job, Didio."
Yeah.
Ask Tom about that. He used to do that all the time. And we get in trouble for laughing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Tom was funny.
He was a character, dude.
I went to his wedding, man.
So did I. I was there.
Really?
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. That was
cool. Are you talking about Tom Jackson?
No, Tom DeSarno. He was a quarterback.
He
might have. Was he there? I think he might have still been there with Holtz, maybe, right? I don't know.
Was he? I don't.
They moved him like tight end or something,
right?
Yeah.
Tom had a gun too.
Tom did have a gun. Tom played in the same conference that I played in high school. We played against each other in high school.
Oh, okay.
He always bust my chops because obviously I was known for being very fast, and he would always bust my chops about that when I was a sophomore, I was a safety, and they used to run option, and he ran option, and he gave like a little fake. So as a safety, I came up, right?
You
know what I'm saying? So I pitch responsibility was my responsibility. So I came up. Well, Tom cut it up under the end, right? And took off I had to turn around and chase him. And I couldn't quite get him. You know what I'm saying? He would just go right. That's the first thing he says. I'm faster than Schuman. I'm faster than Schuman. I outran him for it was like a 50-yard touchdown run or something against us.
Oh my God.
He was crazy. Great. He was an All-American, believe it or not. He was an All-American first team All-American punter. He just didn't want to go. He could have went anywhere as a punter. He just didn't want to go. He wanted to play quarterback, so he went to Uconn. But he should have probably went. He probably would have been an NFL punter. He was literally a first team All-American punter.
Yeah, he could put the ball anywhere.
Like parade.
Yeah. Wow, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
He was a first team parade All-American punter.
Yeah.
Wilbur, did you ever come back and see games when Randy was the head coach?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
So you met Coach Edsall.
That's probably one of the things that Dave was talking about when they played Michigan. I was sitting on the field in the end zone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So, wow. Also, but Randy during those years, when you like Randy and you guys, like that was. I wish he would have stayed. Because
I like Randy. Had
he stayed, he could have built that stadium. Could have got built. He could have been the Geno or the Jim Calhoun of Connecticut as far as football. That, in my opinion,
I agree.
There hasn't been like during that time in that era. That was like the most talent we've had at Uconn. I was like,
that was the best run we had.
And I told you on your podcast, when we had the interview, I actually during those times I would rather watch the game on TV than go to the stadium because we weren't on TV. So to be able to watch Uconn football on TV and hear, the commentators and everything, like that was what it was for me. I enjoyed watching it on TV more than anything, and all of the talent that they put out. You know what I mean? Like the guys who ended up going in the NFL. Like you know what I mean? Like the talent. I love the Randy Edsall era for me is one of the best. I think what's going on in Uconn now is more of a tribute to them than to us, you know what I mean? The guys before, because he took the torch, and he, the talent and the things that you guys were able to do, I think was amazing. I enjoyed that, and I wish that didn't have to end like that.
I give him so much credit. I had him on the podcast too, and I didn't know how young he was. I mean, he was only 40 when he took the job, and to get the stadium built and the indoor facility built within 5 years for a guy that young who's never been a head coach, I thought that was remarkable.
Yeah.
And the reason he left for Maryland was Hathaway. He did not get along with Hathaway.
Oh yeah.
When because Lou left, he always butted heads with Hathaway. admissions kind of raised their standards. So he didn't think he was going to be able to get the recruits in that he needed. And he just kind of saw that, like, this is the pinnacle. This is the best that we're going to be able to do.
You know what? With Hathaway, I think I like Jeff. But Jeff
he's a very nice guy. He was a nice guy.
But Jeff also was a basketball guy.
He 100%.
100%. And I think he was a basketball guy. And I think trying to take over for Lou
really believed in football.
I think he took on some of his personality, and it didn't really suit him. You know what I mean?
No, that's not his.
Jeff, Lou is Lou and Jeff is Jeff, and he should have given Randy. He should have recognized what Randy was doing and kind of backed off him a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely, he should have.
He gave Randy the farm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally, they've got a huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have backed up, but
for what he built, I mean, it was basically 10 years. I mean, he built a perennial program that was, in the Fiesta Bowl.
I think Burton, Mr. Burton Sr. butted heads with Hathaway too.
Really?
So that was all part of Randy leaving, because that was Burton and Randy obviously had a good relationship, and he was obviously one of the biggest owners, right? And then
he didn't like Pasqualoni for some reason, which I don't understand.
And Burton was also a Lou guy too. So that was a tough transition. There wasn't a Jeff, like you said, was a really nice guy. He was more of like the.
He was like corporate by the book.
Yes, he was corporate, and Lou was like the Don, man. He was Lou
was the Don.
He was a big personality, you know what I mean? Like he was like big personality, bigger than life, like gigantic guy. I mean,
he always came in. He talked to everyone. He had such a great personality. I mean, he knew everyone's name on the team, all 110 guys, which I thought was amazing. And Jeff didn't. And Randy was paid pretty well. And Maryland's offer wasn't extravagant.
Yeah.
They could have kept him. I think that something happened during that season.
It's a death trap for coaches, Maryland.
Yeah.
Well, because those players are similar to Jersey, and in that they'd leave. So Maryland has a lot of really good players, but they leave Maryland. Same thing with Jersey. Like there's a reputation. So listen, Rutgers would not be doing well if the head coach was not Greg Schiano. Greg Schiano is the only guy in the last 50 years to be able to get Rutgers, and this is the second time of him doing it, to get Rutgers in the right direction. He's the only guy that's been able to do it. So, but Maryland, that's why Maryland hired Loxley, because they figured since he was a DC Maryland guy, he might be the only chance they have to really be able to. He's done a good job of it. It was hard to, doing
it's not. It's the same as
it's like
not a football school.
That's just how it is. Like I don't know. I really don't know the whole history of it, but it's a tough place. And when Randy went there,
it didn't make sense.
Man, that's always a tough.
Well, it didn't make sense that he said it was his dream job.
Friedgen did great there. Loxley's done a pretty good job there. There's been some guys who have won, but you notice they all end up leaving at some point. They don't stay there if they get success. At Maryland,
Friedgen got fired after having 9 wins. That's what blew my mind. They fired Friedgen because you lost me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Could you try again?
Did you still lose me?
No, we got you.
Friedgen went 9-4 and got fired.
Yeah, I'm saying Friedgen got fired because he was fat. No, seriously, that was the era, dude. That all of a sudden they were cracking down on these guys. They cracked down on the Kansas guy at that time.
Mangino for being fat.
They were cracking down on these guys for being fat, dude. Who gives a fuck if they win? You know, if they were cracking down on people being fat, Coach Williams would have been at a job in 19.
I was going to say, dude, yeah. Coach Williams, fiery. He was always red, too. And,
is that the Greg Williams?
Yeah.
Greg Williams you were talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and now
he's the one who used to tease Mr. 1500 on your SATs.
No, he did. He was hard on Kendall.
Where's your Mustang? Huh? Your Mustang.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So did you so I gotta tell you the Todd Verdi story. And this could be verified by these guys. So all these guys from Jersey, their parents would come up, their moms would come up the night before the game, and they would have cookies and, brownies and stuff. And Verdi would always go in and, eat half of it. And these guys are like, it's like, dude, we got the game afterwards. Everyone's coming over. Like, it's not for you to eat. So they made brownies and they put X-Lax in the brownies. And they do not eat. You know what I mean?
The night before the game,
the game. So this guy eats the brownies. They know obviously he's going to eat the brownies. He eats the brownies. We're in pregame. Dude.
And then it hits him.
It hits somebody. Shit's over.
Oh, that's spectacular.
So look, it's like there's layers to this. So John Boardman, who was the equipment guy, Boardy was in on it. Soon as he does that, they run to Boardy like, okay, dude, Todd just shit himself.
It happened.
Let him change his pants.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Now we go back in the locker room and Verdi's looking for Boardman, and Boardman's like in the back of the equipment room, got it locked up. He's like not even answering. And he had to play the game and almost the rest of the year with a shit stain in his uniform.
Oh my God! Well, I guess he didn't eat the brownies after that. No, I guess he learned his lesson.
Yeah, that was like Kaz and all those guys. Kaz, Mark Chapman, these guys were mean, man. They were mean.
They were tough.
They were tough.
They were tough on you. They were nice, but they were tough.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you guys were the badasses.
Well, it was a little bit of a Wild West era to the extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's why they brought Skip in.
yeah, to clean everything up.
Clean it all up.
I think the last big fight we had, that's when Lou came in.
The last big
fight. He slammed his. Dude, he slammed his fist on the desk, and you thought the walls.
He got mad. Wow.
Well, yeah, I got big. Me and Pete Conley got in big trouble from that. And they called us in after.
Yeah.
Because we were beating up Boo Willingham on the ground. That was with the basketball players, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was a separate. That was that's when you guys fought in the upper deck, right?
Yeah.
That was separate.
It was like Alex Davis was fighting. I can't think of the basketball player, but it was one of the basketball players was messing with that girl who was always messing with a lot of people, and Alex somehow loved her.
Oh yeah, the chick who looked like a doll or something. She always wore crazy amounts of makeup.
And I happened to be on the dance floor, I didn't know what was going on. I was a freshman. I didn't know what was going on. I was just glad to be in the club. You got to know. And all of a sudden, it breaks out. I just saw a football player, and I'm like fighting basketball players. I'm like, oh, I guess we're supposed to fight basketball players. So me and Pete Conley start cleaning out that whole bar. And Tom Jackson said, "Why is Lee Perkins bringing up your name? Your name should never come up ever in any conversation."
And that's when we figured out this guy. He's got people that are going back and telling him stuff.
Yes,
because it's like, yo, who gave that much detail?
Oh, he had moles.
What's going on?
He had moles inside.
Yeah.
I was friends with a lot of basketball players, and there I'm fighting them. I'm like. Yeah. But I didn't know. I just was like, oh, Alex Davis.
Well, you see your boy. Yeah, you always defend your boy.
I didn't really even know. Honestly, I didn't even know Alex that well because I was a freshman.
Yeah.
And he was like, he didn't really talk to the freshmen, you know what I mean?
No.
So here I am fighting on his behalf. He probably doesn't even know my name, you know?
Yeah.
But it's fun. It was fun. Well, so tell that story about what Lou what was that about? Which fight was that?
It was a fight that happened off campus. And I think somebody's sister had come up for the weekend. One of the players' sisters that came up for the weekend. And something happened. We were in Carriage House. And we got in a huge fight. Like, it was crazy. And it got back to Lou. And he
my God.
To speak to the team. And, I wasn't even there, man.
I wasn't
there. The way
he
was talking, and when he slammed his hand, boom! It's like, I got scared. I'm like, I wasn't even there. Like, why am I getting nervous? Like, this is crazy.
Yes, I remember
and that was it, He shut it. Like, no one even bothered to try to break rules. And
yeah, was that when he's like, I'll end this program or something like that, right? He said that stuff, right?
Yeah. He goes, I remember that right now. He's like, yeah. Like,
I wasn't there. I wasn't at that party.
Yeah, I wasn't at the party, but like everybody was like, whoever did, man, don't you ever do that again.
I could never I never saw Lou Perkins mad, so that would be scary. That would definitely be scary, seeing Lou Perkins pissed off.
Yeah. And I used to go pop up on him all the time and just sit in his office while he's like on the phone. And I'm like, he's like looking at me like, how'd you get in here? And I'll just sit down and I hear him on the phone, man. I'm like, this dude is a man, Like, he's just like being so matter of fact about everything. I could never, talk about what I heard. But
so how long? Like, was he at Uconn 10 or 15 years total?
Probably, because he was there
before you, right?
Yeah, before me. For a good while afterwards, there was
He left in 05.
When I made all Yankee conference and got a bunch of awards, I went on like a tour accepting different awards, and I would like be with D Rowe and like his. And I had no idea like how big this dude was until I started going places like off campus, and it's just like D and Lou in the same room was just like bananas, Like, these guys own
the best of the best.
Was a legend. I don't think I ever met him.
I
met him.
He was cool. He was so cool.
He was a legend.
I didn't know why he was a legend. I just know.
I never knew either.
They just handed out the award.
Everybody bowed to him. Like, supposedly the whole basketball thing was all him. Like,
he was a basketball player.
He was like the coach. He had something to do with everything that UConn's transition from that playing in that field house to the Gamble and everything else. Like, everyone accredits that to D Rowe.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
I'm reading that. Here. He also, you're right. Wilbur's 100% correct. He was the head coach there, and he transitioned them from. He was good. He actually was really the one that started the winning in I guess the 70s, and then he was on the search committee that brought in both Jim Calhoun and Gino Ariema.
Yep.
And he raised the money for Gamble. Will, you're right on, dude.
I was there, man.
That's awesome. You are dead on.
I was there.
You definitely would deserve an award.
These are conversations I heard firsthand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're just walking into Wilbur's office.
Wilbur would have been a great college athletic director. He missed his calling. He would have been a phenomenal athletic director.
Wilbur, didn't you just start your own company, or you were working on your own company?
Well, I have my own marketing company.
Your own marketing company, right? Yeah.
Like how Dave says, I know everybody. I know how to connect people and products, and I was doing it for years.
Maybe that's who we should get then.
Yeah,
we should see if Wilbur can get us some sponsors.
That might be, listen, if there's anybody, it would be him. I could tell amazing stories of Wilbur Gilliard.
Wilbur probably has more
5 hours.
Yeah.
Some of the stories I can't tell, but some of the other stories are just equally as good that I can't tell. So it's but yeah, I mean, oh my goodness gracious.
And look, and I'll say this about my Uconn experience. The reason why I'm able to connect and do things because I'm always interacting with like people that you wouldn't think I would normally talk to.
I'm sure.
At Uconn, what we used to do was, this day, the small dorms was great for breakfast because you could go in and just ask for what you want. So we were always on a tour. I would go to all the small dorms all over campus, and that's how I got.
So you knew everyone.
And sit with, dude. Like I wasn't gonna just limit myself.
He was the one that told me that's where you go for breakfast. Like, dude, I don't know if you ever did this. I don't know if this was a thing still by the time you were in college, but those small dorms, what was that, West or whatever? Or, right? They would make custom breakfasts for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you were at a small college. Like if you went to like Trinity or one of these smaller colleges, that kind of thing.
They had the great dining halls.
Yes, you could get customs. You could get custom stuff. So we would go in. You could order chocolate chip pancakes, Western omelets, whatever you wanted, dude. Whatever you want, right, Will?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the one who told me that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then once I told Baron Johnson, forget it. We were there. We were there every day. He was like, you guys go eat there.
Yeah. That's how I met Fred Nutter.
Oh, Fred. Oh, because he lived in one of those dorms.
I used to eat I used to go to the small.
Fred Nutter's a Uconn guy?
What? Yeah.
Okay. No, because
he's the smallest guy on the team.
Oh, okay. No, he messaged me a couple times on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was a Uconn guy.
And you know what I loved about him? Every time I saw him, he used to wear Walter Payton jersey. And Walter Payton was one of my favorite players. So I used to see him, give him, yo, what's up, man? Oh, what you know about Walter Payton? And we would talk sports. And then he ended up walking on to the team like 2 years later, and everybody got to know him.
Oh, okay.
He's the first person to ever do the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. He used to do that in practice while he used to do that all the time. And I would name somebody, and I'd be like, damn, every day I'm trying to get him. And he always bring it back to Kevin Bacon. So, yeah, Nutter, my man. Small dorm.
So, Wilbur, I just wanted to ask you, this is obviously the last game of the season. It's a big game for us just because with a win, it would be the first 8-win season since 2010. And obviously give us a chance to go to a better bowl. UMass fired Don Brown, their head coach, a few weeks ago. They've just been a mess all year. They lost to Georgia 59-21 last week. Their only really close game was Liberty. They lost 35-34, and the two teams they beat were FCS teams. They beat Central Connecticut State 35-31, and they beat Wagner 35-7. So going into this, it's at UMass. There's a lot riding on the line. Unfortunately, I can't believe UConn lost 3 games in the Maui Classic.
Yeah.
That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
But if basketball takes care of business and the women do as well, and we could end up with 9 wins, which is shocking considering we were predicted to have 3. Do you think that? See, our whole problem is the quarterback situation. I don't know what your feeling is on Nick Evers, who was, paid the NIL money and anointed the starter. I don't
mean to cut you off, but that in itself is the problem and why it's hard to identify somebody, because you're putting the money before the proven talent. And when you do that, this is the risk that you run. So I think, we're in this situation. Unfortunately, when you pay somebody to do something, and this is what happens, man. But
I mean, you've seen him play, though.
Yeah, I've seen him play. I mean, he's got some potential, but
yes.
I think I don't know. I don't know him, but
yeah,
it seems as though in this situation, you got a guy who has talent and has a lot of potential.
Yes.
I don't know how hard you're going to work when you already have
the money.
Reward is already there.
Because
your motivation has to be as such to the point where you're actually taking care of business on the field, man.
Well, that's the good thing is the NIL deal's only 1 year. So he won't, like, next year, I don't think they'll pay him the same amount of money. And he can't transfer again. Do you think,
like, side to that is then you might not get nothing out of him going forward?
Well,
it's a weird thing. Like,
it's very true.
It depends on what they. I mean, I have no idea what they're trying. What they're going to do for next year as far as the quarterback position goes. But obviously, the guy who's the senior is going to be gone.
Joe's gone.
You have Nick Evers, and then you have a really good quarterback coming in from Virginia, and then you have the freshman that's the real tall kid, the 6'6" kid.
Yeah,
that's still there. I have no idea what they're going to do, but you are. Wilbur brought a great point. You really are in a dilemma when you pay a guy. I feel like if you pay a guy, you got to be sure that he's going to be that good because. I mean,
they hit on everyone
19,
else.
20 years old, you get $50K or whatever you got.
I think the NIL should kind of follow a sales model. When I sold cars, you had a base salary, and then based on your performance,
incentives.
That's what you made.
That's very true.
If a guy came in on a base and say, you know what, based on your performance, this is what you're going to get, then maybe, things would be a little different.
I agree. I agree with that.
And then so that the guys who end up putting out and really putting in the work, they get rewarded for it. But if it's just a flat fee that you're going to get, like, you're not going to work hard.
You're right. You're right. But my hope is
CEOs of a company, they wouldn't just give them, even though they're getting bigger salaries, they would have incentives, those guys, right? So they want the company to perform well. So even though they're paying them a large base, they want them. Their biggest money comes from if they're incentives. So let's say they paid a CEO of a company. Let's say they paid them $750 or $1 million in one of these big companies, but they can make like $30 million if they deliver on the results. And if they don't. Like, to me, you make that gap so wide. Wilbur's right. You make that upside so big that they're like, you know what? Like, I'm going to get, I don't know, $25K, $50K. But I can make $1 million if I take this team, it will be 10-1. Like, I think that's how Wilbur's right. I didn't even think about that.
100%. Yeah. I didn't think about it either.
Listen, if I'm managing a floor,
they should do that. Yeah.
If I'm managing a sales floor, you can be lazy all you want. You know what you're going home with.
You're right.
When we sold cars, it was like, dude, the guy who made the least amount of money had to buy coffee on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it should be.
There's no reward for being last and not producing. There should be no reward. There should be some sort of penalty with that.
No. It's just, it's sad because if they had a competent quarterback, I do think that they'd at least be 9-2. Yeah. I think they could have beaten Duke, and I think they could have beaten Syracuse. I really do.
I don't know what we need to do to get a quarterback, but we need to get a quarterback.
Well, that's the question.
Schuman, where's the quarter? Who's coming out of Jersey, man? Who can you get up there?
Jersey might only have one or two, but
they got the best from Virginia.
You really got to go to
they got the guy from Virginia.
You got to go to South, man. You got to go to Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the one kid is from Texas, right? That we have a quarterback, freshman. But you got to go because you got to go where they're throwing the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Now Jersey, you are throwing. These teams are throwing much more now, and that's obviously the closest good football state, and probably I bet you can find some in Pennsylvania too.
Cole Welliver is the freshman from Texas.
Yeah.
But I bet Dave, Pennsylvania has quarterbacks too. You gotta sift a little bit in the Northeast because it's cold. Yeah. You can't look at like in Texas. They could throw the ball 50 times. There's no weather.
There's no weather, right? Yeah.
You could throw it 50 times, and so
exactly.
When that guy comes up to the Northeast, can he still do that when he's not going to be able to? So you have to find the right guy, and then if you're going to recruit a quarterback from the Northeast, you kind of have to sift a little bit because some of them are not in systems that are conducive to putting big numbers together, but they might be a really good quarterback. So you gotta look. I'll use the example. I don't know what Dan Orlovsky's system was when he was in Connecticut.
I do. Yes.
The guy I always think about is Shane Stafford. Like Shane Stafford, he didn't throw that much in high school. That's why he was at Uconn.
Yeah.
No,
because he didn't throw that much in high school, right? That was probably Skip's greatest find, that he was able to find someone who could do that. Even Zeke, right? He was at Bergen Catholic. He handed off the ball most of the time. If he was living in Texas, he probably would have thrown the ball 50 times a game. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of.
So you just mentioned something too. So they also need to tap into Dan because Dan's on TV. He went to UConn.
Yep.
Why can't he pull a quarter? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's kind of distanced himself from the program, unfortunately.
They got to get him back. They got to get him back.
Yeah, he didn't go to the Toledo Bowl when the Motor City Bowl when they honored everyone for the first bowl appearance. He's kind of distanced himself from the school, and he's actually distanced himself from some of his teammates that were close with him.
They got to show up at Bristol. Someone's got to show up at Bristol.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely in Bristol.
No, I know he is.
Yeah, man, that's expected though. Those guys,
he's making a lot of money, I guess.
Yeah, they're gonna cut some people off, man.
It goes back to what I said and what I've argued with you all year. Randy's model for success works in the Northeast, and I told you his principles: run the ball, win the field position battle, play tough defense, don't turn the ball over, score in the red zone. That was his 5 principles.
Wow,
and that's why, he ran power. He ran counter. He wasn't.
Dude, I used to get that's why I love watching those guys play.
He wasn't a spread guy.
Oh,
because he knew that with the wind at Rentschler Field and on grass, we couldn't execute that type of an offense. So that's why he did that. And I know Joe D proved me wrong by saying, "Oh, Steve, you don't think you can throw the ball in the Northeast?" Who was the quarterback for the Patriots just a little while ago? It's like Tom Brady. Yeah. He threw the ball pretty well in the Northeast, right? It's like, thanks, Joe. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
But you do have to remember, even with Tom Brady, when he got to those winter months, for the most part, every once in a while he threw it all over the yard. But for the most part, they tried to run the ball a lot.
They did. Yes, they tried to be balanced.
People always look at Tom Brady because he threw for all those yards. A lot of that stuff happened early in the season.
Yeah.
And when it got that's what made Belichick a great coach. He knew how to adapt to the weather when he needed to.
He also threw the ball short runs.
Short runs.
Yes.
In place of the running game. So, you know what I mean?
They had quick screens. Yes.
Yeah, he did all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Edelman and all those other guys ate. And Gruff, he was throwing short passes.
A lot of crossers and unders and quick screens. Yes. Mm-hmm. But I still think I hate that we're in the shotgun all the time. I wish we were under center a little bit more. I wish we ran power. I wish we ran counter.
They got some good backs over there too, man.
That's what I'm saying. We have 3 amazing tailbacks, and Darrell Robinson is averaging 6.8 yards a carry. He's rushed for 648 yards. Cam Edwards, 614 yards, 5.5 yards a carry. And then Mel Brown 551 yards, averaging 5.6 yards a carry.
If I could talk to them, I'll just let them know, man. Keep doing what you're doing because you have no idea.
And they're all coming back.
And it's awesome. And I love that. I love that because I spent my whole career sharing the backfield. And if I look back, I try to look back on it and think, oh, well, what if I had? No, I loved it. You know what I mean? Like the talent that was in the room was everybody got on the field. Everybody deserved to get on the field. You know what I mean? So it's awesome to see those guys be able to work together and run and be willing to sacrifice for the betterment of their teammate.
And Robinson and Edwards are both sophomores.
Yeah, I love that.
Mel Brown's a junior. I mean, they're all back. Mm-hmm. The thing is Nick Evers, and that's why I hope UMass is just a disaster. And my hope is they're 2-9. I'm hoping that they've already packed it in.
Yeah, we got to finish them, man.
And Nick Evers can put together a game that finally shows, like you said, his potential.
Yeah.
Because all it is potential.
Do it, man. Because at the end, he knows. I'm pretty sure he knows he's not playing the way he wanted to. I don't think.
Well, and he's been hurt too. I mean, he's been hurt 3 times. Mm-hmm. He's missed 5 games because of injury, so that's an issue too. The whole sliding thing, what they're trying to do, they're trying to have him slide head first. I think that has been a problem because that's how he got hurt last time.
Yeah,
the most recent time he got a hip pointer, and that's why, like, you hear Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen talk about it. They don't slide because they feel that they're exposing themselves.
Yeah.
They feel that they're vulnerable. So maybe you don't slide. But Wilbur, what I saw when we ran the ball against Syracuse, especially when we tried to run the outside stuff, their pursuit was so fast because they didn't honor Joe as a runner. Mm-hmm. You know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I think if Nick, you know, as Dave said, he's not a Lamar Jackson type of runner, but he can pull the ball and get 10 yards. He can pull the ball and break 20 yards. He's not going to be like Josh Allen and take a 50-yarder to the house, but just that threat to be able to pull and run makes a huge difference. Because when you run the ball out of the shotgun, it's very, very, very difficult if you're not reading someone.
Who used to tell him? Who are you telling, man? You remember that shoe when they 3rd down, they always call it a draw? It was like, yo, please don't call that I'll be like, Z, do not call that draw, man.
There's one guy unblocked. I mean, it's awful.
2 guys in the backfield and the lead draw.
If you have 2 backs in the backfield, you may have enough, but usually you don't.
No.
So it's just tough. That's why I would prefer to get, like, if they want to keep Nick.
I remember blocking and I turn around, the back would be tackling in the backfield. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, you're a man short.
Every time you're like, all right, I made a hole. What's going on? Oh, that damn play was too slow.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
That was like a 3rd down.
They loved it.
I remember one time I told Shane, I said, you better not call that draw. Like, don't do it.
I love that.
You told him that in the huddle?
Yeah. And Shane was young. He listened to me. You know what I mean? Like,
he said, you better not call that.
Man. Don't do not call that draw, man.
Wilbur was the head coach. He said, don't call that play. That's great. And he listened. But, I mean, UMass, they're only scoring 20 points a game, and their yardage is awful. I mean, you're looking at a team that barely gets 230 yards a game.
Listen, if I think if Uconn is motivated to put
I think they're motivated.
These wins, to put up these numbers, you know, to salvage, you know, have a great season as far as wins, will be able to take care of business. You know what I mean? Like quarterbacks, everybody should have enough motivation to go and win that game. You know what I mean? It's going to be a tough game.
It's the last one.
There's some guys checked out, but there's other guys that know they're probably going to be leaving. They want to put some good stuff on film.
That's true.
We don't take them for granted, and we go in there just with an attitude, ready to kick some ass. I think we should be more than all right for tomorrow, because a win tomorrow will be very, very eventful for our future. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to next year. I want these guys to play in the bowl game.
Yes.
The bowl game now is like, it's the start of recruiting season. Guys are just out. They don't want to play. So hopefully have some motivation to want to play and go all the way through the bowl and do something good.
And it'd be great if they do get into one of the Florida bowls, like I mentioned. Dave mentioned the St. Petersburg Bowl, something like that would be phenomenal for them. And I like 9-4.
Yeah,
you got to be happy with that. I mean,
oh my God. Last year you were thinking, can we even do it? Right now they're in a bowl game this year.
No, I know. Last year they were thinking moving back down to FCS, and we want to, like I said, we want to keep going forward, and we have the ability to do that. And you got to remember, Dave and I talked about it. This team had 60 new players total come in at the start of the season between the freshmen and the transfers. So they had 60 new guys. I don't know who they're going to end up with. I think the recruiting class is small. I think it's 12, Mike said. So I don't know who they're going after in the transfer portal. But I think what Dave said too, even an FCS quarterback to bring in would be the way to go.
Yeah,
I like that idea. I like going to an FCS program.
Yeah, somebody who slipped through the cracks, man.
Someone who's tearing it up there.
Yeah,
bring him here. Or if there's a guy that graduates and has an extra year and wants to come play it here. But that's the missing piece. You know what? You're
right. An older guy would be a good mix.
That's what Dave said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're 7-4 with no quarterback. I mean, your quarterback, the production from the quarterback position is, total, they've thrown for 2,247 yards, and they've thrown for 20 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And Joe Figiano threw 6 touchdowns in one game, and he threw like 5 in another. Yeah. It was Merrimack and FAU. Those were where the touchdowns came from.
Schuman, did you see Rob Long's son play? Is he from Jersey?
Yes.
He's at Maryland.
He's at Maryland, yes.
I saw him play. Yes, I know him. He came to my camps when he was like younger.
How is he? He's got big hands. Is he good?
I thought he was very good. I knew him when he was younger. So even though I watched his career, like from when he was like, because he was a reclass. So from the time he was at St. Peter's when he was younger to when he got older, he was as big as he is now, pretty much as like a sophomore in high school.
Right. Okay.
But because he was like 6 feet, like in 9th grade, you know what I mean?
But he's an athlete, right?
But he can run. Last year in high school, they didn't run him that much. I wasn't sure why, but he is an athlete. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him play in a long time, but when he was at St. Peter's Prep, they were very good.
Yeah, no. So is he playing? Because I look, he's not. He
doesn't play. He doesn't play at Maryland. No, I mean he's on the team, but he hasn't.
Yeah,
he's not the starter. And I had Rob on the show.
Rob was a great athlete himself, obviously.
Yeah.
So why Rob don't want his son to come to Connecticut, man?
There's something. I haven't talked, honestly. I haven't talked to Rob in a long time about it, but I used to talk to him when he was going through the process. There was something
they brought him
I can't
up.
Remember what it was. There was something.
Yeah, they didn't offer him.
Maybe that's what it was.
I wanted to see that kid in the Uconn uniform, man. Because I was following Rob and his son, on Facebook and getting a lot of messages, and I started reading up on him and watching his, looking at his stats, and I'm like, man, why don't just go to Uconn, man?
That's the one problem that Uconn has had in recruiting, just because I know a lot of the guys with kids. Like, who's the best receiver in FCS? His son, Matt DiGennaro's son.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the best receiver. He had 80 catches last year. He might have been hurt for a little bit this year, but he's like he's elite level receiver.
Wow.
And he was originally at Maryland too. So he was originally at Maryland also. He's a little older than Rob Long's kid, but so
and nothing. They didn't try anything.
They didn't offer him.
No.
I never tried to recruit him.
And Rennell Jumps
kid. His name is Nick. You can look him up. His name is Nick DiGennaro. And,
Rennell Jumps kid. Yeah,
in Northwestern.
Rennell Jumps kid's going to Northwestern. I don't know. He was a late bloomer.
And Dave Frank's son went to Northwestern.
Dave Frank's son was a stud. He was a bona fide big time recruit. So he was Dave Frank's son, because I talked to Dave Frank when his kid was coming through, and his son was he talked to me. Matt referred him to me, and he talked to me when he was a sophomore. He sent me his film. I feel like he's from DC, and he sent me his film, and I was like, he was like, "What should I do?" I said, "Just start sending the coaches. He'll get recruited." But Dave Frank's son was a bona fide time recruit. So I don't know if we would have got him.
He was playing tackle, right?
Yeah, he was a big time recruit.
But Rob Long,
DiGennaro we could have got. Rob Long we could have got.
Well, Rob Long even said he would transfer his kid to Uconn because he doesn't see.
I think we could have got him. I don't know. I don't know what their situation is now. I haven't talked to. I honestly haven't talked to Rob in a long time.
He told he told me.
You interviewed him?
Yeah, he told me they would transfer to Uconn. He was very upset that he wasn't starting. Champ, I think the kid's name is.
Yeah, his name is Rob Jr. Rob Long Jr. But Champ is his nickname.
But he said I'd bring him to Uconn. He said we didn't get offered. They didn't offer him, so we came here.
Well, there you go. There's your answer. I didn't know.
All right.
But
we would get on this, man. Let me make some phone calls, man.
We would transfer.
I'll tell you this: DiGennaro's kid. What year is he? I'm looking right now. DiGennaro's kid is he's done. Okay, he's a redshirt senior. He's a redshirt senior.
Do you think he'll?
He don't have no COVID yet in there.
He might. I don't know. He might. I mean, listen. He was injured. He was injured going into the season this year, so he has only 40 catches this year. But last year he had 80.
Would he get an NFL look?
He will. Yeah, he will.
Okay.
He will get a look. But he might have a COVID year. He may. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's huge. That's huge right there. But that's why I think.
You remember Dupree? Were you there when Chris Dupree was at UConn, the transfer from Lackawanna? That might have been after you, the year after. Lackawanna. Well, anyway, Chris Dupree was a linebacker with me. Yeah, you know what? His first year was my senior year. But he was older because he was a junior college kid. Yeah, JC kid. He's the tight end for his son's the tight end for Alabama.
Wow.
He was at Maryland too originally. He was a quarterback in high school. He's 6'6". His son's CJ is a quarterback in high school. So he was recruited, but he was a quarterback. So it wasn't like he knew he was going to move positions, but he wasn't as widely recruited because he was a quarterback. So he went to Maryland. He did really well there. And then he's the starting tight end at Alabama. He's going to be a draft pick. And he's starting tight end at Alabama. That's another kid that we could have possibly had a shot at.
Yeah,
back in the day. Now, obviously, unless we threw a bunch of money at him, you wouldn't be able to have a shot at him.
Starting tight end at Alabama, like he's
at Alabama. He starts at Alabama.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's gonna. I don't know what round he's gonna get picked, but he's gonna get picked.
Well, that's the biggest thing. I mean, they have to get a quarterback, either bring in an FCS guy or the freshman from Virginia, or Nick Evers comes out and just develops. And I think Dave's idea with Shane Stafford, bring him in, work with him.
I think they should bring Shane Stafford into work.
Why not?
Yeah, man.
Why not?
Hey,
where is Pup right now?
He lives in Delaware.
Oh, he's in Delaware.
Yeah.
I think they should pay him because he obviously he was arena coach and really good offense, really good quarterback. Yep, coached in college, and he they should pay him as a consultant to live up there because you can't as a college coach you can't work with your guys directly in the off season. So now they could have Shane as a consultant, pay him like $75K, stay here, work with this kid because we already have him with us, and the other quarterbacks I'm sure too. But work with him, right? And then when camp starts, send Shane back home. He's done, right? And unless they want to bring him on the staff, but I'm saying you bring him, you have him as a contractor, you bring him up there, and then he goes back home after. And you know what? For Shane, like that would, he'll do an unbelievable job. Those guys will be ready, and that would probably be a great reputation thing for him as well. But
we love it, yeah.
I mean, I just think that it would be a slam dunk because like Shane's like his tutelage is Steve DeBerg, who's a legendary coach of quarterback. He's older now, but and that's who taught Shane when he went to Arena.
Yeah, he was a good arena coach.
That whole group is so. The other guy who was under his tutelage was this guy Jeff Christensen, and Jeff Christensen is in Texas. I know him from the camps and stuff back in the day. And Jeff Christensen's Patrick Mahomes' and Dylan Raiola's quarterback coach, right? Wow. And they all have a similar teaching style because they're all Steve DeBerg disciples. So right. Jeff Christensen is now they evolved their own. Obviously, I'm sure they have their own program things, but they have that foundation that Steve DeBerg taught. And that foundation seems to be the foundation that's helping a lot of the top quarterbacks now.
Well, and Dave even
has that. That's what Shane's foundation is.
Even you mentioned like Joe Villapiano. Joe broke down Evers pretty well, with his footwork, with his throwing motion, what he needs to work on, his timing being off on all the short throws. I think even Joe is good with quarterbacks and someone they could utilize.
I think what makes Shane different is that
Shane would be
played it and he knows the nuances of it. Right?
I would agree.
The only thing is only reason I know that is because he what I teach my kids, I learned from him. Like everything I learned from him. I do it with my son. I see what he can do. I know my son doesn't go to a quarterback coach. He learns from me, and I learned everything from Shane, right? And I put all the years I was coaching high school, I think I had something like 8, 9, or 10 quarterbacks. All of them went to college, okay? But it's not that I wasn't knowledgeable there. Shane taught me in the early 2000s everything that he knew. And I just started applying what he taught me. You know what I mean? I knew the QB run game because I was a running back. I knew how to teach those things. But Shane taught me the passing wise and how their feet should be and all those kind of things and how to keep it simple for them. And I mean, it was just one after another. I would take guys that were running backs, really running backs who had an arm, you know what I mean? And they would throw for 1,500 yards.
Yeah, your best athlete.
I would take it. So it was just like clockwork. So that's why I'm saying that's
man.
I'm not this type of
pass, man.
What?
You could have helped me throw my halfback pass, man.
There's no doubt.
But I agree.
No, he's just an amazing teacher of it. Yeah. It's just that the whole thing with college sports is all about opportunity. Yes, the guys who are there, they know how to navigate the system well, and maybe Shane is not that may not be his forte per se.
No, but
knowledge base. Knowledge base.
And everyone has them.
Yeah.
Every quarterback in the NFL, all the top quarterbacks in college, they have a quarterback that they coach, they work with on the side in the offseason.
If you saw how this guy Jeff Christensen teaches it, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I used to see it at the camps.
Yeah.
And he was like rough, like he's an old school guy. Like he's not trying to like be your best friend type of deal.
Right.
So not everybody will but when you get an elite guy that goes to him and they can put their ego aside and just listen to this dude, like Jeff Christiansen, like I don't know what Steve DeBerg used to teach to these guys back in the day. I mean, you're going back to like the 80s. That was all when Steve DeBerg was the backup to Elway.
And then he went to the Chiefs.
I don't, but
and he coached arena ball.
Yep. He was a coach for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've only been on the phone a few times with Steve DeBerg, but he doesn't like the system stuff. You know what I mean? Like people that are, everything coaching is the system. So he's kind of like a little bit of a renegade kind of guy. Even though he was a pro player himself, he's a little bit of a renegade. So that's why you wouldn't hear the name, you know what I'm saying? But he's taught this stuff to some other guys that have worked their way through different systems, and they're all kind of like him. They're like a little bit tough, rough around the edges on everything, but they got this genius to them. They know how to teach it, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, that's the biggest thing. So hopefully Nick has a good game against UMass, doesn't get hurt. They come up with a plan for him for the offseason. We got him 2 more years. They develop him, and we finally see the potential that he has shown on the field, because that will make the difference. They have another schedule that's winnable next year, and I think that combined with basketball will get us into the contract. It will get us into a conference, which gets us the television money. So then we'll have some of the television money to combine with the NIL money.
I looked at the stats too, by the way. UMass, they give up a lot of rushing yards.
Oh, I know they do. I looked at that's. They're 2-9. They don't score, and they give up a lot of yards rushing. So we can make it very easy. Hand the ball off.
Yeah.
We got Cam Edwards, Darrell Robinson. Stop the outside. So I stop the outside zone bullshit.
Yeah.
I put it in our last podcast description, and I tagged Coach Mora. I said, Coach Mora, all I ask, please run them naked off of outside zone with your 2 backs. That's all I ask.
Yeah, let the 3 amigos do their thing, man.
Because I can't.
When Wilbur and Eddie Long.
I can't take it anymore.
Wilbur and Eddie Long were in the backfield together. That was the first time that Uconn really had 2 backs that were different, that were dynamic.
Yes.
And it became like, if you notice, all of the successful teams of Uconn have had that.
Always.
And when they weren't successful, they didn't. They always had 2 backs.
You have
were slightly different in their styles of running. Randy had it. Obviously, Mora has it, right? Like Holtz had it when Shane's team was 10-3 or whatever. He had it that year, right? The year when we were 8-3, it was you and who was it? Torrey? Who was the other back? The year we were 8-3, that team, when you were the tailback. What were your senior year?
Oh, it was me and Torrey.
It was you.
Hezekiah was there.
Yeah, so that was because my senior year, they tried to just make it Torrey, and kind of then they started later to work Hez back in. They should have did it right from the get-go, and that's why. That's one of the reasons we were 5-6, because they were kind of trying to do a 1-back system, and it really it
doesn't work.
And then when they brought it back with Hez the next year being a 2-back system. Hez, I can't remember who the other guy had, but then it worked the next year, right? They were 7-4, the 10-3 team. They had 2 backs. It's always been that way. Like the year that my redshirt freshman year, when it was Wilbur and Eddie, we were 6-5, and that team should have been better, and it was. It was just like they should have just ran the ball more. The truth was that. And our coaches those guys were good coaches, but like we had bad coaches too. Like, like that was a weird stat. Like we had some really good coaches, and we had some bad coaches.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like when they had later on where there was much more. For the most part, you had all around pretty good coaches, but that was really the first time, man. Well, that year when we were 6-5 and Wilbur and Eddie ran for acres. Wilbur ran for 1 million touchdowns that year. I don't remember how many 15 or something.
Sophomore year,
yeah. Like that was really the beginning of like that's the model. You could go right back to it.
And that's
before that, it wasn't that way.
And that's why I get so upset with Skip, because I'm like, why do I have to move to fullback? Do you see how this worked last year? Like, this was great.
Yeah, like you're limiting.
Even my senior year, when I went back to tailback, Torrey had a great year as well, because Torrey was skinny. He was a little kid back then.
Were you going one for one? Like,
but he was fast. He was extremely fast.
Yeah.
So when he got in the game, it was like a total shift, and it worked perfectly.
It was a good match.
You know, he had a great year. I got hurt at the after Yale, but Torrey had like a phenomenal year after that.
Yeah,
you know,
he was a great athlete.
Ed Nook was there. Was his fullback?
Was the fullback? Yep.
Like, dude, he. Man.
But I don't even want that. I want them to go under center. They have 2 good tight ends. I'd like to see 12 personnel. I'd like to see use a tight end, run one back power, run counter with the tight end. That those things are complements if you're going to be in the gun and you want to run zone. And their base play this
coming
year,
back. The fullback's coming back. See what's going on in the NFL.
They're not going to bring a fullback in. I know that there's no way.
You take a defensive lineman. This is what you don't have to bring.
That's what they've been doing. You're right.
Yeah, take a defensive lineman who's an athlete who may not be 6'4", but he's like 6'1", 6'2", and you take him. You don't have to bring in a fullback and you use a scholarship on that guy. Take a guy who's there, who's an athlete, and who for some reason isn't like your main rotation guy, and that's your fullback. He can catch the ball a little bit. That's what the NFL is doing now. You know, like they're doing that. Like Juszczyk from 49ers, that's a guy who's like was a traditional fullback, can catch the ball, block, run all this. But most of these guys now are really like D linemen who are athletes. You know, really, really athletic.
A lot of these guys in their background, like in high school, they were like all-state running back or something crazy like that. You know, you don't even see it on their main stats. But if you look at their football history, they played a skill position for a couple of years.
That's why, they bring in Vidi Vea comes into the
dude used to
he was a tailback in high school.
Tape from high school.
100%. 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So Vidi Vea comes in for a handful of plays.
That's a big
awesome, man. I love big guys do stuff.
They need that element to the run game to have complements off it and then the play action off it. That's just my biggest part of it is the passing game. They don't have a lot of quick game. They love to run 2 tailbacks and twins to one side, and they run outside zone to it. So I want to naked off of it. Fake the outside zone. The lead back runs up and runs behind the line of scrimmage into the flat. The slot receiver runs the over route, and you run a high-low. You get the ball to your best player, your tailback. Everyone's going to fly to the outside zone motion because we've never run anything off the outside zone. Run the naked off the outside zone. You'll get the back wide open in the flat. That's all I asked, Jim. Please just do that once. He ran the naked. I asked for a naked. We scored off the naked.
We'll see if your messages are getting through.
And now, Wilbur, you got to get to work on Rob Long.
Man. I got to go. I want to see that.
Champ's got a spot.
Yeah.
And maybe DeGennaro. Find out if he has any more eligibility.
Yeah.
So, Wilbur, Uconn is minus 10.5 at Umass. We do our predictions. What are you thinking? What do you got for us?
I think they'll cover.
Well, I think they'll cover too. But what would you say the score?
I'll say we do.
We average 31 points a game right now.
I'll say 28-10.
28-10. Okay.
Yeah.
Dave?
It'll be a little cold. You know what? I take that back. I'm looking for a blowout.
I'm looking for a blowout.
Yeah,
too.
I think they're going to blow these guys out. The coach is done.
Yeah.
It's the last couple, it's the end of the season.
They want to go to Thanksgiving.
These guys are checking out, man. Yeah.
Yeah. They miss Thanksgiving. Just
Yesterday was Thanksgiving. There's a bunch of parties on campus.
They had to practice.
These guys are checking out, man.
They had to practice on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man.
They're 2-9.
Yeah, come on, man. And these guys have been making business decisions. You don't want to be in the tub, going to therapy for 2-9. Like, no.
Yeah, and they're going into the MAC next year. So, I mean, that's not a lot to look forward to. You're going to have a new coach. They fired the legendary Don
Brown before finals, so they're going to have to.
Exactly.
They want to get to that.
Yeah.
Dave, what do you got?
I'm thinking 38-17.
Yeah.
38-17. All right. Since I'm, I don't think
UMass will score more than 10 points.
Since Uconn is 11-0 in my own head, I'm gonna try once again. Nick Evers starts and he explodes. He has his game. He has his breakout game.
Yes.
And we rush the ball and our defense overwhelms them. We played Syracuse tough. Going from Syracuse to playing UMass should be a much better matchup for us. And we're going to come out with a lot of energy. We're a second half team. I think that we will win 42-7.
There you go.
You heard it here first. 42-7. So
is the game at UMass? Is that
it's at UMass. Asip Mandur said, "Fuck you, man." Why, Asip? What did I say wrong?
Don't entertain the comments. You know they're always crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know why he said "fuck you."
Well, he doesn't like you.
Oh, he doesn't like me. Asip, why don't you? Karate Viagra? He. Karate Viagra.
You might have the bots coming in there because we've been on so long.
Jandry,
bots coming after us.
Jandry, I fuck on Viagra all the time. It's amazing. You just stay hard for hours. So I have no problem with Viagra. I'm proud. Viagra, Cialis, I'll take it all. You want to send it my way? Go right ahead. Just kidding, bro. Okay. All right.
I might have to start playing your theme music.
I love Viagra.
Now coming to the stage, Steve Cully.
Viagra, baby. I fuck on Viagra. I fuck on Cialis.
Oh, God. You're crazy.
Well, I'm trying to entertain Dave. That's all. You can edit. You can edit that out. 42-7. Okay. Nick Evers has his coming out party. We finish 8-4. We go to St. Petersburg, and Dave's going to go to the bowl game. And then Dave, you have to visit.
Date?
What? It's a date.
The date of the St. Petersburg.
I gotta check. But you have to come. You're contractually obligated to come to Utica, New York.
I'm the assistant travel ball basketball coach. I got to make sure I make those games. You know what I'm saying?
Frank needs you for his YouTube channel. He really made a YouTube.
And you know what? And then I got to get in touch with Rob, and I'm going to bring him and his son on my own recruiting trip. I'll host them myself.
No, we got to talk to Wilbur. Wilbur may be our guy.
Oh, he's definitely the key, dude. I advocate for more utilization of Wilbur Gilliard.
I'll ask him. So
and by the way, you want Steve before you go, if you wanted to watch back in the day something really good. When me and Wilbur would play intramural basketball and we were both on good teams, but we were like the extra guys. When we would go in, we had to cover each other. It was great.
Would you just power walk up and down the court?
You know, we, even though we were only 6 feet, 6'1", we would like to post up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Come on, man. That was me. I'm in the paint all day.
You were allowed, like, they would come in and scream at us if we played intramural basketball.
What?
Oh, yeah.
We were never allowed.
We were playing the playoffs. We had good teams.
Dude,
Oh,
yeah,
my
He was
God.
on a good team. I was on a team with
Randy.
Shane. That was a good team.
Yeah.
Uya Sunday, who was like Randy's adopted son, would try to play intramural basketball, and he got yelled at. He got yelled at by Randy for playing.
We lived for intramural basketball.
Oh, it was great.
Now, I also got the opportunity to practice with the girls' basketball team.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and guess
I
how long
never
I
got a chance. We used to walk through the gym and see those guys all the time doing that.
Guess how long I lasted practicing with the girls?
Yeah, one day, right?
Nope, not one day.
1 hour?
About 15 minutes.
What happened?
Well, I'm not a good basketball player. I was on a 2-18 basketball team in high school. I barely played. I just happened to be walking by and they needed someone, so I came in. I was guarding Swin Cash. Swin Cash got the ball, was posting me up. I tried to block a shot. I knocked the fuck out of her.
Yeah,
knocked her over, hit her in the nose. Nose is bleeding everywhere. Gino went ape shit would be an understatement. Ape shit. I injured.
See that.
I don't know if I broke her nose, but I injured one of his star players within 15 minutes. So that was the end of me being invited.
Did he say get out of here or just get out?
Oh, get the fuck out. Yeah. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you are? Who let you in?
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just walking. I just cut through to go to class. They said they needed one more, and they said, Cully, come down. I said, okay.
Oh, God. Yeah, man.
And so Swin,
that's
she took it very well. She was very nice, but I knocked the hell out of her. I knocked her over, and I'm pretty sure I did something to break her nose. So It was 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
That's incredible.
All right. So for the great Wilbur Gilliard, thank you so much. We loved having you on.
Hey, thanks for
overdue.
having me,
Hopefully we'll get to talk more when we get a bowl game and get announced. And the great David Schuman, the next amazing content creator. Go to Coach Schuman's Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel for all the best coverage on Uconn athletics, Uconn sports. We do it all. We have the best hosts in Joe D'Ambrosio, Maria Conlon, the lunatic Tyler King, and we have the greatest guests like Wilbur Gilliard, Andre Dixon, Courtney Williams. We get it all. And then you'll hear coverage of all other sports, the NFL, college football, coaching, and recruiting. Coach YouTube, Sports and Entertainment. It's the best of the best. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life.